I'm going to go ahead and go live. What's up, everybody? For those of you who are new here, my name is Markia. I'm also known as the Money Plug here on social media. I am a bunch of different things, if you want me to be honest. But, there we go. I'm muted. Um, but if you're watching the replay, thanks for watching the replay. And if you're watching it live, make sure you guys are dropping your questions in the comments. I know it's going to be a lot of me looking back and forth. Y'all know TikTok's still acting crazy and won't let me go live from my desktop no more because they some haters. But for everybody else in Facebook, YouTube land, Instagram, what's up? Here we go. Now I'm live on Instagram. It took me a second. But today, I guess we can just kind of give the church announcements, right? Kind of update you guys on some things that's going on for those of you who are new to my platform or just who haven't checked in lately, right? Because I'm definitely gonna pop your hands if you ain't checked in lately. But really, it's just kind of like a catch up. Like I've missed y'all. Like I've legitimately missed y'all. Like what's new? So what I did was earlier I dropped in my Facebook group, and for those of you who are on Facebook, I know it's given very much ill. People still on Facebook, but for those of you who are still on Facebook, I do have a Facebook group that's totally free to join. I answer every single questions you guys drop in the Facebook group. Literally, sometimes I'm the only comment. But I dropped a question prompt kind of thing in the Facebook group today. I'm actually going to it now so that I can read all the questions. What's up, Ginger? Why? I'm not even going to tell y'all that my Facebook is in French. Don't ask me why. But I dropped a prompt in there for everybody to drop all the questions that they had so that I can answer them on the live today. So if you guys have any questions while I'm going through these questions and reading the answers, just let me know. Drop them in the comments. I'm going back and I'm reading every single one of them, I promise. What's up, King Pop? I haven't seen you in a while. All right, so we're going to start with the first question. How do I increase my mortgage scores? That's a really good question. So for those of you who don't know, there are multiple credit scores, right? So it's not just one score. It really depends on who you're looking at as far as like which credit bureau and then what you need to score. This is why it's really important for you guys to do research before you start applying for shit, right? So what I mean by that is there are FICO scores and then there's Vantage scores. These are the two main credit scoring models that are used. And when it comes to these credit scoring models, even under the credit scoring models, there's multiple credit scores as far as FICO goes. FICO provides base scores as well as industry specific scores. Base scores just judges your overall ability to pay off debt, just period. Doesn't matter what kind of debt it is. And that's what your Vantage score is as well. However, your FICO industry specific scores, Jesus is a tongue twister. FICO industry specific scores judge your ability to pay back a specific type of debt. So for example, if you want to go car shopping, you're going to want to look up your FICO auto scores. If you want to go house shopping, you're going to want to look up your FICO mortgage scores. And I have a video on my YouTube channel that kind of breaks down how credit scores are calculated. And I talk about it on that video if you guys want to check that out. And I'll also be redoing a lot of my content the next couple of months because I mean it's the end of the year, so I'm really just kind of repeat all the basic stuff for you guys to get started on your New Year's resolutions kind of early. So I'm going to be redoing a lot of these playlists. But the thing about industry specific scores is you have to know what you're applying for. Oh, thank you, Michael. You have to know what you're applying for before you even kind of like stick your toe in the water. So like I want to go get a house. My FICO mortgage scores are my FICO 2, my FICO 4, and my FICO 5. Now, the reason why these numbers are different than, say, like your FICO 8 or your FICO bank card 8, right, is because the 2, 4, and 5 are very antiquated credit scoring models. So the things that don't affect your credit score with your FICO score 8, they do affect your score with your mortgage or even vice versa, right? So different things will kind of change how your credit scores look depending on which one you're looking at. Now, specifically with your mortgage scores, the most important part of that is your payment history. That is literally the most important part of a mortgage score, and it's the last 24 months or 2 years. So the first step, you want to go through your payment history, and you're going to want to look at the last 2 years of payment history. Now, I always tell people, because y'all so quick to try to remove an account just because you got a late payment or 2 late payments or something like that. But I always tell people you want to try to rehab the account first. So if you have late payments, you can reach out to the creditor if it's still an open account. And you can say, hey, listen, I like you. You like me. I like telling people that we go together or whatever. I like recommending people, to y'all. And so like, could you do me the solid and just, forgive me? You can even give a story. Like, the reason why I was late was I was going through XYZ. This happened. I was sick, blah, blah, blah. Kind of humanizing your story in a sense. Now, some lenders will tell you, sorry, I can't help you. That's not what we're doing. And that's well within their right to do so. But occasionally a lender will reach back out and say, you know what, you're right. We'll go ahead and do this as a one-time thing, not guaranteed to ever happen again. So just from this point forward, you got a clean slate with us. And they will change your late payments to paid as agreed. Now, again, this is their prerogative. So if they choose not to do this, you can't be like, well, I'm going to sue. Da, 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 da. You can't do none of that, right? Because this is their choice. Now, if you want to dispute the payment history, that's something different. If you want to dispute your payment history, then you have to force them to prove that you were actually late, which a lot of times don't work in y'all favor for those of y'all who pay all who, you paying all your bills online, right? A lot of times they'll just pull up the receipt of the payment to prove that you actually paid late. And if they can prove that you paid late, then they can legally report that late payment. You get what I'm saying? So those are two ways that I typically tell clients to go about it, simply because these are the most popular ways and the most effective ways to go about removing late payments. Now, there is one way. This only works for credit cards, and it only works in very specific situations. Now, there is something inside of the FCRA. I know y'all hear that all the time, right? But it's the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And I keep telling y'all how it's really, really important that y'all read this for yourself. Inside of the Fair Credit Reporting Act is something known as the Fair and Accurate Credit Transactions Act, or FACTA. This is also the part of the FCRA that gives you like the one free credit report a year and blah, blah, like all the identity theft protections and stuff like that. Well, one inside FACTA is if you can, like, let's say that you were a victim of identity, right? Around the same time that you had a late payment, then what you could then argue is that the late payment could have been caused due to the fraudulent activity on some of your accounts, and you were unable to make a payment at that time. Now, again, that might not work. It is very, like, I swear you can only use this if that actually applies to you. You can't just sit here and lie about it. But I have seen where lenders were like, you know what? It was nothing, it's out of your control. There was nothing you can do. We'll go ahead and update that for you. Now, something else y'all might want to look at is the Fair Credit Billing Act. Now, it only applies to credit cards, right? But you can prove, well, let me explain the law first. So inside of the Fair Credit Billing Act, it states that legally a credit card company has to give you your monthly statement no less than, I believe, 21 days before the payment is actually due. Now, if you can prove that you never received a copy of your monthly statement, right? Or maybe you got it less than the 21 days, and you can prove that you got it less than the 21 days, you can use the Fair Credit Billing Act, or the FCBA, and argue that because you did not receive your monthly statement in time, it caused you to be late, and they cannot legally report that late payment. The FCBA states that they cannot report a late payment if they cannot prove that you got access to your monthly statement no less than 21 days before your due date. So if you can argue and prove that, then you can use that to remove that one particular instance of a late payment from your credit report. Now, this is why I tell people to kind of unsign up from e-statements. I know y'all hate getting mail, and I know it's super convenient to have all of your statements on an app or emailed to you, but it makes it harder for you to use this particular law in the event that you need to use it, because they can just say, well, you could have logged onto your portal and saw it. We sent you a notification in the app, or we sent you an email. But if you can blame it on snail mail. So, for example, I see this a lot with military people. When you guys PCS, right? And it takes a while for the address change to catch up, especially when you move overseas. Now, if you notified them that you were moving overseas and they still sent your monthly statement to the previous address, or it took entirely too long for your monthly statement to get to your new address, then you would then use this as an argument, right, for them to remove the late payment. So again, these are some very specific situations, but again, this is why it's very important for you guys to read the laws, right? Read the laws, because then you can find these things out for yourselves. There's so many hidden gems in there. And that low-key answers a follow-up question, which was how to remove late payments. So low-key, I just gave y'all 2 for 1. But when you're improving your mortgage scores, you want to start with your payment history, right? Now, let's say your payment history is 100% and you still need to get your mortgage scores up. The next thing that I want you to look at is your mix of accounts. A lot of people only have one type of debt, which is like, I only have credit cards, or I only have loans because I don't like credit cards. A mix of accounts is, yes, only 10% of your credit score, but the 10% worth of points could be what makes or breaks your ability to qualify for that home loan. As well as how long have you been building credit? If you've only been building credit for 6 months, they're not going to just give you a loan for $400,000. That's not how that works. You gotta understand your credit report is like your reputation. Oh, you know what? Hey, girl, I didn't even see you. Hold on, y'all. I'm getting the Wi-Fi signal. Let me plug this up. Yeah, there we go. All right. That should help my signal for YouTube. Sorry, y'all. Somebody should have said that in the comments. But okay. What was I saying? Length of credit history. So they want to see at least 1.5 to 2 years worth of credit history. This is your reputation. This is them saying, do you pay your bills? How well do you pay your bills? Don't tell me, show me. But if you've only been paying bills for 6 months, that's not enough time for me to decide whether or not I want to give you $400,000. I need to like let you cook for a minute. I need to let you sit and I'm gonna turn my head like this and act like I'm not looking and just peek back every so often and kind of see what you got going on. You have to have credit history when you guys are applying for these high ticket items, right? I'm not gonna just give you that money just because you have an 800, right? You also have to have all of the things that come with what you want to be labeled as good credit, and having a good length of credit history is one of those things. Let's see. Hmm, there we go. Oh, hold on, TikTok. Oh my God. There we go. I gotta let TikTok catch up right quick. Hold on, hold on, hold on. There we go. All right, it's green again. All right, we back. Now, what's the next question? How to get repos off your credit? Ooh, okay. Let's talk about repossessions for a second. I need y'all to understand. When it comes to repossession, I need you to think about, is it literally nothing else you can do? Because touching a repossession is very, very tricky. There's literally no other way to say it. Because if you if you piss off the wrong people, like there's literally no other way to say this. If you piss off the wrong people when you're trying to dispute, remove, or rehab a repossession with no intention of paying it, you can be sued. If you are sued with the statute of limitations for that debt, you can and likely will be sued. First things first, you need to understand what the statute of limitations is. Statute of limitations is how long a company has to sue you for debt, right? You need to look up the statute of limitations for your state, and you need to look up if any actions done on your part, so on behalf of the consumer, can reset the statute of limitations. I know there are certain states that came out with additional laws that, in addition to what was already in place, that protect consumers from resetting the statute of limitations, but not all states have those. It's really, really important that you look that up first before you even think about touching that repossession. Because if you reset the statute of limitations, they now have more time to sue you. So be really, really careful when it comes to repos. Second, like, why you don't want to pay? I get it. If you had the money, you would have paid it when you had it, right? Cool. However, I need you guys to understand that just because you don't want to pay it, don't mean that they have to remove it just because you don't want to pay it. So I really need y'all to kind of like be realistic. Okay, I'm gonna be all right. I was trying to be nice. Be fucking for real. Okay, you can't get something for nothing. So if you want these accounts removed, man, sometimes you're gonna have to pay a couple dollars. Now, when it comes to repossessions, a lot of times they'll settle for less than owed. For example, for those of y'all who have Westlake, I be telling people all the time, if you have Westlake, they will settle with y'all. Wait them out a little bit if you owe them, if they repoed your car or whatever the case may be. Wait them out. They will settle. I know personally that they will settle with you. And 3,000, I think it was, dollar debt, and I settled it for $600. Now, obviously, the account shows that my car wasn't repossessed. I totaled it, and we still had a balance on it, and the gap didn't gap like we wanted it to. So, whatever. But then, like, you can settle with them and move forward from that. It will now show us a $0 balance, which is perfect for creditors, but it is still going to report. That's another thing that you guys have to understand. When you are paying things like charge off credit cards, repossessions, and things like that, they're still going to report because they have the authority to report that history associated with that account. Even if the account is closed, right? It's not gonna reset the reporting time for the 7 years. It's still gonna be 7 years from the date of first delinquency or that first missed payment that led to the charge-off, but yes, skipping. There we go. Somebody said skipping. It's not gonna reset for another 7 years, however, it's definitely going oh, there we go, I see it. Um, I don't know why my Facebook is in French, actually. There But yeah, so it's not gonna reset for 7 years. It's still gonna report for the same amount of time. It just looks a lot better now because you don't owe. It's not gonna boost your credit score, but it will improve your credit worthiness. Because a lot of times they'll see your score, look past your score, and that can hurt you more than your credit score sometimes. You have a credit, and they'll still deny you because you have way too many issues, right? Payment history is important, mix of credit is important, and length of credit history is important when it comes to raising your mortgage score. Obviously, get rid of collections, that sort of thing, like the regular stuff too, but these are the 3 things that are the most specific for, 'cause Imma include collections in the conversation. Those are the things that are most important when it comes to your mortgage. Removing collections, rehabbing your payment history, your length of credit history, your mix of credit history. Oh, and payment history, if I didn't say that already. Alright, let's get some more questions. Oopsie. I'm really gonna have to look up how to change this back. Hey, Rouge. Ooh, that made me want some crawfish. What's another one? Oh, how to get repos off your credit is what we was talking about. I don't know how I skipped back to the original question. But yeah, when it comes to repos, you might got paid some of that money. Now, there is a loophole. There's a loophole with everything. But again, this loophole means you have to read the law. So if you read the repossession laws for your state, it outlines the process in which you have to be notified, like disclosures that they have to send you when they're planning on repossessing the vehicle. It outlines the process of repossessing your vehicle, your rights and responsibilities as the consumer, and their rights and responsibilities as the lien holder, right? Now, if you go through your state's repossession laws and you notice that there was something that you can prove that did not happen or um happened improperly, right? Then what you could do is you could get this removed on the basis of it was an illegal repossession. So you could make it so that the account is either updated or completely removed. Now, when you remove accounts like charged off credit cards, repossessions, and things like that, something that you have to be cognizant of is that, hey, it might lower your credit score instead of raising your credit score. And that is because you are removing all of the history associated with the account, all of it, not just the negative pieces when you remove accounts. It's really important that you guys understand the consequences of the action you want to take. A lot of times, rehabbing the repossession is better, or just paying it off, like settling it, is better because that account may have had like years of on-time payments before the late payments that led to the repossession. So that's something that you might kind of want to keep in mind. Another I have a client that just had a repo to her credit for a car that was for her brother who died. There's literally nothing they can do. And this is another reason why I post so many videos telling y'all to stop fucking co-signing for people because you can have the best intentions and life will life, unfortunately. And when that happens, it's nothing you can do because when you co-sign for somebody, you're telling these people, hey, in the event these other people cannot pay their bill, I'll pay it for them. That again, and I don't want to repeat that, but I'm so sorry for your client, but there's literally nothing that they can do. Legally, she is required to pay that car off. So that's just I hate that that happened, and I'm so sorry for them. But this is why co-signing is not something to take lightly, and you have to fully understand the consequence of that act. So I wish I had a better answer for you, but no matter what, if they are a co-signer on a loan so let's talk about removing people from a loan, right? So let's say you got a car with your boyfriend and y'all break up, you wanna keep the car. You will have to take him to court to force him to refinance the car, which will then take you off the loan for the car. It's the only way to get off a loan when you are the joint person, unless you do a voluntary repossession, which obviously will hurt your credit. Now Even if you go to court, it could take them forever to refinance. They might not even be able to refinance because maybe their credit is bad. Unfortunately, this is another one of those things where you have to understand the consequences of your action. Co-signing has a lot of consequences. So you really have to sit down and evaluate. That's not a split second decision. That's something that you definitely need to sit down. If you have a financial advisor, I would talk to them about it first, before you start making these decisions. I get y'all like to talk to pastor and your grandma and your little cousin, baby sister, baby mother, Aunt Tracy, or whatever the fuck. But unfortunately, I think that it would be in your best interest to talk to a financial advisor and not the finance manager at the dealership. Amen. Amen. So what I'm doing, for those of you who are new here, what's up? I see a bunch of people popping in and out. I'm answering all these questions that I posted. I posted a prompt in my Facebook group earlier saying, "Hey, I want to go live later. What questions y'all got?" I'm answering everybody's questions. If you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. Even if you can't stay, I'm live streaming on YouTube, so the replay will be available for you to go back and look at later. And I'm going to go back and answer all the questions that I can find, even after I finish the Facebook one. So if you feel like I'm ignoring you, please don't feel like I'm ignoring you. Let me go back and read your questions. And you can, if you don't have time to stay the whole time, you can catch the replay on my YouTube channel, at Markia the Money Plug Brown, or at the Money Plug, THEE Money Plug. Da, 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 da. If you're in the military, active duty, can I get a hold on my student loan? That is a question that really depends on your loans, the lender, what they're willing to do, what they're not willing to do. But I want to put you on game. There's something called the Service Member Civil Relief Act, or SCRA, that applies to military personnel. And what it does is it put a cap on the interest that is associated with any, like, loan, credit card, whatever that you had for any debt that originated prior to service, right? The SCRA has a lot of benefits. This is just one of them. So if your student loans existed before service, y'all know that interest is about to start, tagging back onto y'all student loans really, really soon. So you can enact the SCRA to kind of protect yourself. It caps your interest, so that it would make your payments a little bit more manageable. And I know the military does have like I don't know if they still have it. They have the SRP program, or student loan repayment program, or something like that. I would definitely talk to somebody at finance to see what your options are. But if you can't put them on hold. Now, if you go back to school, you can defer, like, it would defer your payments, but again, that's completely up to you. Understand the consequences of whatever action you choose. I know I'm reading the Facebook questions first, but I really want to address this comment that somebody just left on my Instagram. It say, "Do you believe in using trade lines for a credit boost?" When I say y'all need to understand the consequences, I really need y'all to understand the consequences of that action right there. When you purchase trade lines, right? Purchasing trade lines violates the acceptable use policy, terms and conditions, and things like that, for that card. So what could end up happening is not only will they close the account to the original card holder and all of their authorized users, but you could be fined, you could be sued, because what you're doing is you're falsely representing yourself to other people, right? You're paying for this credit history that you have not earned. Does that make sense? So you need to be really careful with that. And if a company, let me be more specific. If a credit repair company is selling trade lines, they are violating the Credit Repair Organizations Act, or CROA. I know a lot of y'all think that credit repair is like the wild, wild west, right? It's some lawless society. It's truly not. There's something known as the Credit Repair Organizations Act. If a company is selling you trade lines that violate that act, if they're willing to do that to make a couple of dollars, what makes you think that they won't fuck you over just cause? Y'all gotta be real careful. I mean, I get it. Everybody's like, "Oh, I want good credit now. I want to buy a house. I want to do this. I want to do that." Yo, that should take time. It took time for you to put your credit up. It's gonna take time to fix it. When you break a bone, it's not fixed tomorrow. You can't pay patient first to just magically heal it. So you guys gotta understand that when you are rebuilding, especially, you gotta be patient. Time is a very big part in the rebuilding process. So if you're trying to buy a house in 2 weeks, that's not what happens. I just really wanted to address that. I do not support, I don't encourage none of that when it comes to paying for trade lines at all. Let's see some more questions. How can you ensure an eviction don't show up on your credit profile? Now the question specifically says after 7 years. After 7 years, it shouldn't show up anywhere. And it's 7 years from the date of first delinquency or the first payment that led to the account being charged off, because that's exactly what it needs to be. So after 7 years, it better come the fuck off, or you can petition the credit bureau to remove it due to the fact that it has exceeded the reporting time to this debt. Now, here's the thing with evictions, and this goes with anything that has to do with you going to court. Because it is public record, you will never be able to remove the eviction. I'm sorry to pop your bubble when it comes to things like bankruptcy and judgment, child support that's in arrears, and eviction. Like these things that you got to go to court for, it will always be a matter of public. So anybody will be able to find them. I could literally go online right now for a lot of y'all and find y'all evictions because it was court, like it was court ordered. You know what I'm saying? So you can even remove it from your credit report, but if they check the tenant screening services, they could still find evidence of your eviction. That's number one. So first step would be you need to find out every single credit reporting agency that is reporting your eviction. Now, once you find those agencies, you would have to dispute with each individual agency. If you hear me in here, why would you be knocking? Thank you. Now, you will go to each individual credit reporting agency and you would then try to dispute it with each agency, which will get a little tedious and you're not guaranteed to win, right? Because obviously, if it's a matter of public record, right, they can see that the judge said you got to pay this eviction. They're going to see that you got evicted, right? So the easiest thing that I can tell y'all to do is maybe restrict some consumer reporting agencies from being able to access certain parts of your certain credit reports. So, like, let's say, and what this is usually called, a lot of people refer to this as opting out or freezing, right? Which are two completely different things, but a lot of people use them interchangeably. But here's the thing with freezing your credit reports. Sometimes you'll have to unfreeze it when you start applying for other things. So that's also called, again, you got to understand the consequences of each action, right? So when it comes to evictions, your best course of action is if you have not paid that debt, pay the debt. That way, even if you have an eviction, it will show as paid. And no, it won't boost your credit score, but it will make you look more credit worthy. Now, if you're on your credit as a collection, let's say you had an eviction, you never paid it, and it is a collection. A lot of times you can negotiate the removal of the account from your collection, like from its collection status, in exchange for the money that you owe. So let's say you owe $1,400 worth of unpaid rent for an eviction that you had. What you could do is you can negotiate with that creditor, like, yo, I ain't got $1,400, but I got $800 right now for you if you would start reporting this. If they agree and you get it in writing, you pay it, they remove it, no harm, no foul. They'll still be able to see the fact that you were evicted on a tenant screening report, but it will not appear or affect your actual credit score, if that makes sense. If you're added to a credit line, does their overall credit history affect your score, or only the credit history of the credit card you were added to? And the answer is only the history of the credit card that you are attached to. So, for example, if I put one of my kids as an authorized user on one of my credit cards, they will only have access to the credit history for that credit card. The rest of the shit that I done fucked up, it's not gonna bother my kids. It's not, they're not gonna be held responsible for my mistakes. This is why it's very important that when you are like adding people on as authorized users, or if you are requesting to be added as an authorized user for somebody else, you ensure that that credit card has 100% on-time payment history and that they always maintain a low-ish balance, right? 10% or less is what I typically tell people, or if it's higher, just make sure they're making their payments consistently. Other questions? How do I get rid of late credit card payments? Remember, we went over that when we went over the mortgage scores. How does getting married to someone with bad credit affect your good credit? Oh, this is a good question. Let me tell y'all a secret. I know y'all be having a little 50-50 discourse on social media, and like, do y'all got shared bank accounts? And yes, of course, we got shared bank accounts. Being a pick gonna get your money fucked up. I said it, and I'm gonna say it again. Being a pick is gonna fuck your credit up, your money up, whatever. I get that you want to be together. I get that you guys want to merge everything. But if you are in love with somebody who's just not there financially, do not merge any of your accounts. Don't add them on shit. Don't put them down as a co-signer for nothing, no joint accounts, no nothing. It's bad enough that if somebody sue y'all, they're gonna take their tax return when they take theirs. So you want to keep it as separate as possible so that person get their shit together. Your names should not appear on any document other than that marriage document because you don't want to get associated with them. Because then, let's say y'all want to go get a car, right? Let's say you got good credit and your spouse does not. And y'all go to apply for a car together. They're going to give you a higher interest rate than what you probably would have got by yourself because this other person with bad credit is kind of like dragging you down. It's literally like a ball and chain. And though you are responsible, your partner is not. And who's to say your partner won't influence you to be shitty like they was? You get what I'm saying? So that's them trying to protect themselves. So again, I'm not saying not to marry that person, love who you love and all that stuff, but just be a little more careful and more cognizant about where they stand financially. It's okay to be realistic. We don't have to combine our finances right now. If we're getting married and this is we together forever, we don't got to do it today. We can do it some other time. You said forever, right? That shit don't last a week. So then why does it matter if we don't do it right now? And if your partner is pressuring you to combine your finances and you are not comfortable, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but they might not be the one. But that's another conversation for another day. Let's see. I paid the credit collector, but the original still charging me. That's illegal. That's called double jeopardy. So one thing you need to understand is there's a difference between a debt collector and a debt manager. A lot of people get them confused. So, for example, like medical debt is typically where I see it. They will have a debt company managing the debt for the hospital or doctor's office or whatever. So they'll be calling you on behalf of, like, we're collecting on behalf of whatever, 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 right? And so they do not purchase the debt. So they they didn't purchase the debt, so 9 times out of 10, they're gonna tell you, "Oh, we can't remove it," or whatever the case may be. And in those times, a lot of times you can go back to the original creditor to pay. Now, if they bought the debt, then nothing the original creditor can't charge you for the debt. They can't even report that a debt is owed if they sold the debt to a debt collection company. It should say that you owe a $0 balance, right? Usually in the comments, it'll say, like, charged off, sold to whatever, whatever, but they can't charge you twice for the same debt. Now, if that is the case, you would have to amass all of your evidence, take evidence of them still trying to collect from you, take evidence of the fact that you paid the debt off, and you would have to file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau at cfpb.gov. So Charlie, Foxtrot, Papa, Bravo.gov. Okay, good. I don't remember letting it go from there. But yeah, so you're definitely gonna want to report that. And probably sue. Not probably, would sue. Obviously need to get a lawyer. How do you get motivated to do the work and stay motivated? I be trying so hard to like not be me, not necessarily not be me, but to not be as aggressive on my lives as I am on my videos. But girl, do you want to cry in the hall or you want to cry in the rolls? Okay, you want to be robust or you want to be hard? Put your name on it. At the end of the day, you have to argue with yourself. Like you got to be like, this is my life right now. I don't fucking like it. I want to live like that. So I'm going to be motivated. I'm going to motivate myself to keep going until I get there. You get what I'm saying? Like for me, so like for those of y'all who know me, I got a million different like little lock screens, right? So one of the lock screens that I had is at the beginning of the year, my friends sat down and I made a bingo card for all of the professional goals that I had for 2023. And so I set it as a lock screen. And whenever I'm feeling like I'm stumbling, whenever I feel like, damn, am I supposed to be doing this? Like, I just think I got the energy. Baby, I switched that shit to my lock screen so quick. Right, that because I need that reminder. I need to remind myself of why I'm doing this. I need to remind myself that it's hard right now, but this was harder a week ago. It was harder a couple of years ago, right? I've come way too far for me to give up now. That's how you stay motivated. Motivate yourself. Find it to incentivize it. Say, all right, well, if my credit score go up 10 points, I'm gonna buy shoes that I see. If my credit score go up 100 points, I'm gonna take that cruise I've been thinking about. Incentivize it for yourself. And it don't even gotta be nothing that big, girl. It could be like, you know what? If my credit score go up, I'm gonna go ahead and get my nails done. Right? Something small. Something that's not gonna hurt the bank, right? But you gotta find it within yourself. You gotta find that motivation within yourself. Let's see. Kamisha, Now, and the only reason I say your name is when you watch the replay, if you're not watching it live, I need to understand your questions are too broad. When you guys are on here and you like, how do I fix my credit? That is such a broad question. I can't give you an answer. Her comment was TransUnion, how to get that report clean. I can't answer that. That's not a specific enough question. That's something that you and I would have to sit on a call and like I would have to dissect your specific credit report, which is a service I do offer. But I would have to go through your entire credit report to tell you exactly how to how to clean up your TransUnion. All of the tips and things on my profile will help you rebuild or build if you don't have it, or rehab your credit. But speak early, but I can't answer that. And I don't teach business credit. So I can't answer the third one. Somebody else said, you pay a big balance with a credit card. When should you do that? On the due date or before? I had the also, after paying a big balance and lowering your utilization, how long does it take for that to reflect? Now, the answer to this question is actually you need to look at your statement. Every month you get a credit card bill in the bill. And every month it tells you exactly how long your billing cycle is and when this like what period of time this monthly statement is for. Right? So let's say your billing cycle is 30 days. So from July 1st to July 30th, that is the billing cycle, right? And on July 31st, that's when your monthly statement comes out. That statement is for the previous billing cycle. So what you want to do is you want to submit this payment before the billing cycle ends. Because once the billing cycle ends, they report to you and they report to the credit bureaus. So you want to do it before they report so that it will lower your utilization. And then that would reflect as soon as they report. That makes sense? How do I get rid of inquiries not attached to an account? Now that's easy. Again, damn, I keep saying this stuff, y'all, but I really need y'all to understand why it's important for y'all to understand how the laws work in your favor. Because there's something known as the law of permissible purpose, which is inside of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The law of permissible purpose is that a company needs your authorization, right, to pool your credit. You got to consent to having your credit pool. And if they cannot prove that consent, then they cannot report the inquiry. A lot of times when you guys apply for something, and you don't get it, they don't keep the documentation sometimes. Sometimes companies just don't want to waste paper or whatever the case may be. And if they do the paper away, and then you ask them to prove that you gave them consent for your credit, and they have no proof, they have nothing to prove that you gave them consent, they'll have to remove the inquiries. And that usually only happens with accounts that you did not open. When it comes to inquiries, do not, never, ever dispute inquiries that are tied to open accounts. Because sometimes that can lead to them closing the account because they're going to be worried that it was actually fraud that got that account open. Somebody asked me, how can I get access to a 10,000 limit credit card? I hate when I say stuff because y'all be taking it as me being mean, and that's not what it is. Especially for those of you who don't know me. I'm very dry, straight to the point. Get your credit score up. There's no like life hack. There's no secret sauce to like what's going to qualify you for a $10,000 credit card. Get your credit score up. That's really the only answer I can give you. Somebody said they were doing okay and they had a major setback. How do they start over and get back on track and rebuild? Just start over. The first step will always be fucking for real. Set some realistic goals for yourself regarding your money and your credit. Then pull copies of your credit report to see where you are currently. Remember, your credit report is like a screenshot of your current credit status, right? Pull copies of your credit report, go over it, not just glance through it neither. I mean, section by section, line by line. You need to be looking at numbers. You need to be looking at dates. You need to be looking at names. You need to be looking at everything you possibly can to see exactly where you are. And then remember them goals that you set when I told you to be fucking for real. You focus on those goals and you do whatever it takes on your credit report to get to that goal. That's what you do. There's nothing you can't come back from when it comes to credit. Absolutely nothing that you can't come back from when it comes to your credit. If you are willing to take the right steps. A lot of y'all be looking for shortcuts and life hacks and plays and shit like that. And then yeah, it might work for a little bit, and then you fuck yourself over in the long term. Y'all gotta stop that. You have to. You have to. You have to. My credit score for all three credit bureaus is over a 700. Why can I still not get a loan? I can't tell you why without looking at your credit cards, your credit report specifically, right? But I can guess, right? So let's take a couple guesses. Maybe you got a lot of inquiries. If you have a large amount of inquiries in a short amount of time, that is a huge red flag to creditors. Because why are you begging? What did you do that means you gotta beg for money back? Like you get what I'm saying? Like they're gonna be like, hmm, it's gonna make them look at you funny. It could be maybe your utilization is high on your credit cards. It could be maybe you don't have enough, like a good mix of credit. Maybe your debt to income ratio, which is something you wouldn't even see on your credit report most times. Maybe your debt to income ratio is a little high. They're like, oh girl, we don't want to. You said you only make 10,000 a year, but you looking for a $25,000 credit card and you got X amount of money in bills and put on your credit. Like you get what I'm saying? So it could be a plethora of things. But again, you would have to understand how credit scores are calculated and like the difference between your credit score and your credit worthiness, really. And you guys got to start diving. Like even if you hire somebody, right? And I get on y'all about this all the time. Y'all think throwing money at credit repair specialists is the answer, and it's not. Y'all putting band-aids on bullet wounds. When the reality of the situation is, y'all got some things you need to unlearn and reteach yourself before you can actually effectively have and maintain good credit. Because I can fix your credit, but if you still spending more than you make, you're gonna be right back in my inbox asking me to restart your services. I can fix your credit, but if you're still not paying your bills on time, you're gonna be right back in my inbox asking me, can I help you fix your credit again? You see what I'm saying? So there are some things that you guys gotta really unpack before y'all start this credit journey. And it don't matter if you hire somebody, it don't matter if you're doing it yourself. But there are definitely some things that you gotta unpack before you start your process. All right, talk about evictions. Let's talk about how disputing works for a second. A lot of y'all think just because you disputed something, that shit supposed to come off, and that's not how it works. And I get it. You think like that because you guys, y'all, how do I say this in a nice way? Y'all are delusional. A lot of y'all are delusional. You want a lot for a little bit. You want an 850 credit score, but you don't want to pay no money. You don't want to have to negotiate with nobody, and you just want it off. And that's just that on that. That's what you want. That's not how life works. I'm so sorry to bust your bubble, but that is not how life works. You're gonna have to pay some of these accounts off sometime. Like, how bad do you want it? Like, I literally have to sit down and tell my clients. They be like, I don't want to do that. How bad do you want it? Because if you don't want it that bad, then cool, we ain't gotta do it. We ain't gonna get it. We ain't gotta do it. How bad do you want whatever it was that you had set for your goals? Disputing is not gonna get you that sometimes. Sometimes you're gonna have to you put your big girl pants on, you're gonna have to negotiate. You're gonna have to come to the table like, look, I got $3. What can I do with that? And yeah, that's just a lot of collection companies do things like they'll be like, oh, if you give us some money, we'll stop reporting. And you don't even have to pay them all the money sometimes. So like first of all, you never know what you're gonna get until you ask. But you guys gotta start being realistic. Be fucking for real, y'all. Please be fucking for real. Because if you owe me money, I'm not about to let you slide and you not pay me nothing. You still owe me. And I'm gonna tell everybody you owe me. I'm gonna tell every single person that know you, this girl owe me money. Hey y'all, this girl owe me money. Hey, she owes me money. Right? Unless you come to me and you're like, yo, look, I don't have 40. I know that's what I got from you, and I'm so sorry, but I'm just going through some shit right now. Here's 20. Can we call it even? Then I might let you slide. I stopped telling people your business then because you gave me something. But you cannot expect to get something for nothing. I always tell clients, especially when we start the dispute portion of the credit repair process, is that hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Well, yeah, I hope that disputing is going to get this removed, but I'm going to plan a debt management, like repayment strategy, just in case. You get what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. And I don't be trying to be rude. Like, I get it. Fucking times is fucking hard. Inflation, gas is high as shit. You don't got the fucking money. And I get it. But then that just means you need to adjust your timelines for the things that you for the goals that you do have. That's literally what that means. Best way to ask for a pay to delete, call or mail. Always, always, always get any agreements that you're trying to make with your creditors in writing. I don't give a shit if it's by email. I don't give a fuck if it's by regular mail. But stop calling these people. Y'all be so tied up in the fact that it's an inconvenience for you to have to send letters and wait for a response that y'all just don't want to do it. And you end up fucking yourselves over because y'all taking these verbal agreements, right? These verbal contracts, and y'all thinking that that shit gonna hold weight. And then when they don't remove the account, you have no evidence to substantiate your claim that they ever agreed to this in the first place. Because what you gonna say? They recorded the call. Well, we didn't record that call. Or oh, the recording is corrupt. Now, good. However, anything in writing signed by an authorized representative of a company, right, is considered a legally binding contract. So if you take them to court and sue them for not, like, let's say they agreed to a pay to delete and they didn't delete it, and you take them to court to sue because you're like, bitch, I want my money, right? And I want you to remove this. And you have proof in writing in hand that you can show the judge that they agreed to this, and then you got proof of payment to show that you paid and they still reporting it, you're gonna get your money every time. You're gonna get your money every time. Somebody just said, what if I recorded the call for quality and assurance purposes? Here's the thing. One, you got to notify them that you're recording, and they can say they don't consent to the call being recorded on your side. And two, they can also be like, well, what if it's tampered with, right? What if it's tampered with? Or sometimes, and this is for my people who lack certain resources, how are you gonna play that in court when you can't take electronics to court? You can't take a phone. You can't have if you can take your phone in court, you can't have it on, right? Some judges don't even want to hear that shit. They don't want nothing to do with that technology shit. They need it in writing. Y'all keep trying to look for loopholes. Stop looking for the easy way out. I get that y'all want everything to be convenient, right? I tell people all the time, consumers are fucking lazy. But the reality of the situation is how bad you want it. How bad you want that shit off. Because if you want it bad enough, you're gonna send that letter. If you want it bad enough, you're gonna send that email. You feel me? All right. Let's see what other questions we got. And again, I'll see even more people who popped in. What's up? For those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Markia. I'm known as the Money Plug here on social media. Drop whatever comments y'all got or questions about credit, money, whatever in the comments, and I'm gonna answer it. If you can't stay the whole time, drop your comment and then subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Markia B at the Money Plug. Or you can search at the Money Plug, THEE Money Plug on YouTube, and you can watch the replay whenever you got some time tonight. Because I'm going back and I'm gonna answer all the questions. I already asked about repo. What is the best way for a young person with zero credit to build credit? What's the fastest method? I hate when y'all ask me that shit. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Stop asking me like what's the fastest way I can do this? What's the fastest? Stop being fast. Why are you trying to be fast? Length of credit history is 15% of your credit score. 15% of your overall credit score is how long have you been building credit? And remember, we talked a little bit earlier, 6 months of credit history ain't gonna get you shit. Now, what you could do, and this is something that I typically always advise, like my 18-year-olds or people who are really just getting started with the credit journey, one account that I always suggest y'all get is a self-credit builder loan. And the website is, hold on, I'm about to tell y'all right now, learn.self.inc. The reason why I always recommend self is because what it is you set how long you want to pay this account, and you set for how and it'll adjust how much you pay and stuff like that up to 24 months or 18 months or something like that. And you pay into it every month. It's as if you're paying off a loan that you never got, low key. But when you finish paying off, they give you that money minus their fee. So you're really paying into a savings account. For those of you who find it really, really hard to save money, because you're constantly transferring it back out, so you need something that you don't have access to immediately. Obviously, if you really need your money, you can transfer it out. But they make it a little harder for you to do, right? Because it's not connected to your bank, and then you can mess up the loan thing that you had going on, that sort of thing. But with self, they give you that money. So I typically tell people, if you don't have an emergency savings account, this could be a good way for you to start. For kids who just turned 18, I tell parents, this could be one of the best ways that you get them started on their credit journey. If they have jobs, sign them up for self. Have that come out, because you can set up automatic bill payments. Have the payment come out automatically. And at the end of the life of the loan, they now have a large lump sum of cash that they could put to this, well, not cash, obviously, right? It's going to be a check, but they can put it to the side and put it in a high yield savings account. And then you'll start the loan all over again, right? Because you want to make sure that you have some accounts reporting to your credit. That just irritated the hell out of me. Damn, I hate when people call me when you see I'm on do not disturb. Can I ask you, like, why do y'all repeatedly call people when clearly their phone is on do not disturb? Anyway. Okay, so I'm done reading the my Facebook group comments. Now I'm going back and reading everybody comments that y'all been leaving since I went live. So if you haven't had a chance to write your comment, now is the time. All right, let's see what we got. Now, what if the agreement isn't signed, but it comes directly from the company? Does that still count? If the agreement is coming, it don't have to be like a wet signature. It could be something as simple as their email signature. That's them signing off on it, right? They sent it to you, so that's the representative saying that I agree to this agreement. So if it comes directly from the company, like if it's on the company letterhead or if it came from an employee of the company, it is considered a legally binding contract. You go over the options for late payments removals again. Forever to go through. Okay, Rocky, if I got time after I finish all these questions, yeah, but it was a lot of options that you got within the late payments, depending on the kind of account you got. But I'll go over it if I still got time after I finish going over the rest of the comments. Let's see. All right, TikTok, I'm going over y'all comments now. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Oh, whoever I just sent that fucking invite to, please do not try to join. That was a damn mistake. See, you have a podcast. Okay, fun fact, I used to. So you'll probably still be able to find it, but I'm coming out with another one. So be on the lookout. Not no, you can't have $1. I sold my house to raise my score. No. Psych. All right. Not right away. I know the person who asked the question. So no, not right away. What's gonna happen is your score is actually gonna go down because this account is now considered closed, right? Because you're gonna pay your loan off, obviously. Um, Whenever you pay off a loan, it doesn't matter what kind of loan it is. It could be a student loan, a car loan, a mortgage. Whenever you pay off a loan, no matter if it's early or on time, that account then closes. It's now considered a closed account, not an open, actively reporting one. So your credit score now has to adjust to the fact that you have one less open, actively reporting account every month, and that's going to cost you some points. Right now, it's temporary. And matter of fact, I posted a TikTok, a YouTube short, and a reel today that talked about the effect of student loan forgiveness on your credit score. The same thing applies to if you pay off a mortgage, if you pay off a car loan. So definitely check that video out. But yeah, your score's gonna go down temporarily. Now, as long as you're paying all the rest of your bills and stuff, it should go back up. But yeah, suspect that dip in your score. Uh, would you suggest paying someone for credit repair? So, as a credit repair specialist, let me put y'all on game. I am a board certified credit repair specialist, a board certified credit score consultant. That's one of the businesses that I run is literally me repairing credit all the goddamn day. As a credit repair specialist, I promise y'all, a lot of y'all don't need it. And when I sit down and I have these appointments with people because I do require like an orientation first, right? They don't even need credit repair. A lot of you just don't understand how your credit works or how your credit score is calculated or how the things that are on your credit report affect your score. And that's where you fuck up at. But a lot of you don't need credit repair. Now, I don't all of my platforms, like social media platforms, are strictly for my DIYers, right? So I give y'all every key, clue, hint, play, whatever the hell you want to call it, to fix your credit yourself. However, occasionally some of y'all don't want to do it yourself. You don't got time or whatever the excuse may be. Now, I do offer a service for those of you who, yeah, you want to do it yourself, but you just don't know what you're doing, right? It used to be called a credit audit. It's not called that anymore. It's called a credit report analysis. And what we do is we take like an hour and we sit and we go over your entire credit report, you and me, line by line by line. I tell you exactly what's wrong. I tell you how to fix it. I tell you what letters you need to be sending, what are potential responses you may get, some rebuilding strategies that are unique to your specific situation, not just a blanket advice that I give out here on TikTok. And it really helps you then decide, can I do this myself or do I need help? So a lot of you don't know which way to go because you don't really know what it entails. You don't know what credit repair entails. So once you have that appointment, you usually have a better feel for if you can handle it yourself or if you would like somebody else to do it. That is a service I offer. I know there's a couple other people who offer a service similar. So there's an option you may have Really, it's all about preference. If you can afford to pay somebody and then you just genuinely don't want to do it, don't have the time to do it, or whatever your excuse is, go for it. But just make sure you're using a reputable credit repair specialist. Make sure that you are protecting your investment, right? Make sure that like they can't guarantee you results, but make sure that they are working to the best of their ability to get you as close as possible to the goal that you have set for yourself. It's very, very important. But that's really a personal preference question. Oh, thank you. Somebody said, "Hey there, you're out there doing big things and stuff." Thank you, thank you. Should your utilization be under 10% or 5% for an 800 plus credit score? You could keep your credit utilization at 0 and still not have an 800 credit score. A lot of things go into how your credit score is calculated, but your credit utilization needs to be as low as possible. I don't typically suggest 0% because sometimes some creditors may mistake that as you not using it, and they don't wanna give you something you're not gonna use, right? They wanna make some money off you. So, but I always say keep it as low as possible without touching 0. Can you speak on rebuilding after bankruptcy, and if you offer the service to assist with removal? I did talk about I do run a credit repair company. Rebuilding after bankruptcy is the same as rebuilding, period. It's harder when you have a bankruptcy on your record because a lot of lenders don't wanna touch you right away, especially if you're fresh out of a bankruptcy. But you gotta, 1, act your credit score. You cannot be fresh off of bankruptcy thinking you about to get an American Express. Okay? Okay. I need you to be realistic. Be fucking for real. Number 1 rule in credit repair, be fucking for real, right? But so that means that like you need to expect high credit, high interest rates for credit cards. That means you need to expect to hear a couple no's, right? But this also means that you need to do research. You need to figure out what lenders are more empathetic to your plight. What lenders work with people who are fresh off of bankruptcy? Ask questions. But stop just applying for everything and then kind of seeing what lands, right? Do your research as far as what are your goals? Now, what companies can help you get to that goal, knowing that you have a bankruptcy on your credit? A lot of y'all be like, I want to get my bankruptcy taken off my credit. Instead of just and pay all this money to get this done, instead of just working with companies that will just give you the shit anyway. You know, all right, that's it for that. Let's look at the questions. Let's see. I answered that one earlier. I answered that one earlier. Is it better to dispute online or by mail, specifically to get a hard inquiry off? I never suggest disputing online because when you dispute online, they control the narrative. They control exactly how your dispute is formatted and what, and they do that because that controls what e-Oscar code your dispute is assigned. Whenever you send a letter into the credit bureaus, your argument or your case is assigned an e-Oscar code based on the reasoning behind your dispute. And so if they can control, because they ask you very guided questions, very pointed information about your dispute, when you go to dispute online, they can control what e-Oscar code that you get assigned, which would then control the response that you get from them. So I always, always, always suggest by mail. That's a really good question, though. And that's it. Damn, y'all, we did good. I was live for an hour, answered all y'all oh, wait, no, I didn't. Sorry. Hi, everyone. I have a question. I have a numerous amount of inquiries. Oh, we already talked about that. The law of permissible purpose. So when I get off of here, for those of y'all who came late, for those of y'all who maybe asked a question and can't stay, you can catch the replay as soon as I get off of here, and you'll be able to watch the whole thing because I talk about that a couple times. All right, that's all the questions. So I hit y'all with some church announcements right quick. So if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, then you know by now. TikTok, you guys didn't know. But I just got like some super big like announcements recently. Earlier this week, I was notified that I'm being honored as a 2023 Female Finfluencer by the Board of Savvy Ladies, which is a nonprofit organization that offers financial help to women. They're like one of the biggest things that I like about Savvy Ladies is that they have this hotline that you can call and join my email list. For those of y'all on Facebook and YouTube, you'll be able to see the link to join my email list in the description for this video. If you're on Instagram, click the link in my bio and join my email list. If you're on TikTok, click the link in my bio and join my email list because I'll be sending out the number to their hotline. I don't have it in front of me right this second, but they have a hotline where you can ask free questions. You get like 30 minutes to sit with a financial advisor and ask the questions that you have, and it's strictly for ladies. Like you feel so comfortable. Like I, and, you know, like I told had a conversation with them earlier this week, and I was like, I wish I had access to something like this when I was going through the shit that I was going through that kind of inspired the money plug. And she was like, what's crazy is we've been around for like 30 years. I never knew. So obviously share that with your friends and stuff once you get the email. But yeah, so I won that honor. Like I'm so excited. There'll be a gala in November. So period. Y'all send me all your little dress recommendations because I'm definitely going. Um, and then I found out that I was nominated for two Plutus Awards, y'all. Two Plutus Awards. Now, obviously, y'all don't know what it is because you're not. For those of you watching, that's not in the personal finance space. But it's some awards. It's an award ceremony for personal finance content creators, and I'm honored. I attended the Plutus Awards last year at FinCon, and I sat in the audience, and I was so excited just seeing everybody going up and getting their trophies, and like just so inspired and motivated. So to be nominated this year is a huge, huge, huge accomplishment for me, and I'm so proud. And I definitely want to send everybody watching this, even y'all pretending not to watch this. I want to say thank you to y'all because it would not be possible without you guys liking, sharing, following, asking questions, right? None of this would be possible without the people who support my content. So I definitely want to thank you guys for all the support that you all have given me. We still young on this journey, right? We still in the single digits, so we still got some ways to go. But I'm definitely super proud of everything that I've managed to accomplish in such a short amount of time, both professionally and personally. And I'm just excited to kind of see where this goes. But my hour is up. I'm gonna get out of here. You guys can catch the replay on my YouTube channel at THEE Money Plug. Um, yeah, and that's just that on that. Y'all know what I always say: live every day like it's your last, but you know, wear condoms and pay your bills just in case it's not. And I'll see you guys sometime soon.